OK. Let's move on to Manchester City, who we expect to be busy this month. The club are actively pushing to sign 3 new players. We put that to Pep Guardiola today.
I know all the month you're going to ask me the same about all you are linking in the media, so I'm not going to talk. So you can insist, I'm not going to answer because I don't know the situation. We know that we should not go to the transfer window. I don't like much. If the situation would happen that season with many injuries and we have to try to do it because the situation that's what it is. So, but what happened? I'm not going to talk because I don't know. I know, of course, I have conversations with the club, but what the process and happen, I don't know what's going to happen because it's so difficult. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Otherwise, I cannot say anything else.
Well, that was very polite, but not telling us a whole lot. What do we know, Mark?
Do you know what? I feel sorry for reporters. Michael has to do it. I have to do it. We have to go into a press conference and ask the manager about transfers and about targets. And we have this little dance where we bring up the names and we try and find creative ways to say, are you going to sign this player? And every single manager hits it straight back. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's a little bit spiky, as was the case there. But we have to try and do the job. And, of course, the manager doesn't want to talk about players that are another club. Now, this is really interesting because how many times do you see Manchester City active in the January transfer window? And you can see the 3 faces there that they've been linked with over the course of the last week. Let's start with the guy in the middle, Omar Mamouche, 25-year-old Egyptian winger. No deal agreed as of yet, but we're expecting Manchester City to approach Eintracht Frankfurt with regards to a deal. Our information is that Omar Mamouche wants to join Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. He's keen on the Premier League, he's keen to join the Premier League champions and wants to work under Pep Guardiola. The problem is the fee. Now, some people are saying to us that Eintracht Frankfurt wants £67 million, which is a huge deal to make happen. And let's be honest, France, Italy, Spain, has anyone in those countries got that type of money to spend? So it almost feels like Manchester City are essentially bidding against themselves or another Premier League side if they decide to show their hand with regards to Mamouche. Now, 2 other players you can see in the screen there. Abu Kadir Kusanov on my right-hand side, closest to you, Nick. Lens defender, 20 years old. Sky in Germany is saying that Manchester City have bid £42 million for him. That's the latest at the moment. No further developments. Talks continue. And this one, young 18-year-old, Vita Reese. He's a centre-back. Talks continue with Palmeiras. On Thursday, there was an initial conversation that carried on from the weekend, but no further agreements at this stage. But we do know that the 2 clubs are talking. 20-year-old, 18-year-old, 25-year-old. Fascinating to see what happens because clearly Manchester City not having a good season.
They've not done a lot in January historically, so are we in different territory now?
I think they've got to do something. I think Pep Guardiola maybe didn't say it as much today, but in his previous press conferences, they want to do something. I spoke to 2 Manchester City supporters on a train a couple of weeks ago. They're actually excited by the second half of the season. They've not been in this position before, and they're intrigued to see what happens. I would say maybe 2 out of those 3 players there are for now. Kusanov has been tracked by not just Manchester City, a number of big Premier League clubs, and I think you can say that as well, can't you?
Yeah, there's definitely one other Premier League club that I know have been watching him. And like all these big players in Europe or around the world, let's be honest, with data and Y-Scout, and every single player that's doing well is known about by Premier League sides. Yeah. It's just a case as to who jumps first and who takes that gamble first.
There's enough of Mamouche for me to say that he is, though, for the now. And in terms of the value, we have to remember that for Frankfurt, they're saying, we're having a good season. We're also in Europe, and the new European structure, we're getting games in January, which is unheard of. They're doing well in the Europa League too. So that's the added value, I feel, in this.